Hello guys, my name is Anna and I'm a Ukrainian, and I have decided I will vlog daily from my country Ukraine since the start of the civil war with Russia. In my daily videos I try to update you on the important real-life situations in my country Ukraine, and of course I'm always glad to answer your questions and to clarify some facts from our history, culture, background, or whatever interests you. And today I'm in the dark, not because we have a blackout, but because I save some energy for my country and I find it interesting to vlog in this format too. And I want to talk a little bit about the changes in the geopolitical atmosphere because of this war that Russia started in Ukraine. And at the beginning of February, in March, it seemed like many authoritarian regimes, including China, are feeling more free because Russia demonstrates its aggression and the world is frightened, the world does not know how to react, and it felt like Russians will be able to achieve their goals. But very, very quickly, all the people and all the democratic countries mobilized. Ukrainians demonstrate their bravery and like 100% confidence that we're going to stand for our independence and for our country. And our allies very quickly started helping us with training, with weapons, with information, and it all worked really well. Why? Because if you are united by good things, perhaps God, energy, and other people start working together and it results in what we have now. So after almost 9 months of this war, many authoritarian regimes saw that Putin is failing, that his tactics did not work out, that during a really bloody period of war for his Russian army, where he lost almost 70,000 soldiers, he did not achieve anything. And the only regional center that they have managed to occupy temporarily will soon be taken back by Ukrainian counter-offensive operation. And all of that together gave Russia what? Like sanctions that spoil its economy, hatred that many Russian associated ideologies, businesses have in the world. Why? Because of the bloody Putin's regime that the majority of Russians support. And we know if the country is run by a dictator, it is not only a dictator to blame. Then we have weird mobilization that also leads to lots of unhealthy processes inside Russian society and does not help fight this war inside Ukraine. Miserable situation of Putin is supported by the fact that he's asking for help from Iran and countries like that that do not rank on the top of innovative military countries. Actually, I was surprised that Iran decided to help them with drones. Of course, this is mutually beneficial, but not very beneficial for Iran, because now Israel, together with Turkey and Azerbaijan, are thinking about more aggressive actions towards Iran, and this is going to be just. Also, China. China is a very shrewd country. I am not an expert in China, so I'm not going to speak much about it. I know that for decades it slowly swallowed many territories of the Far East in Russia, occupying cities without military actions, but making them more and more Chinese, with new people coming to live there, with new restaurants, new names, and I think that in 100 years people won't even notice when these territories all will be China. But China was also observing how will this authoritarian Russian regime manage with this war in Ukraine. And it was supposed to be really easy because Putin persuaded his partners, his allies, that Ukraine is a part of Russia, that his army is really strong, and then he will take it over just 3 days. So it was possible for them to wait for 3 days, to keep their eyes closed for 3 days on all the crimes that he and his army will commit in Ukraine. But these 3 days turned into 9 months, 9 months of Russian failure. Because all of their operations cannot be called success, and we see that Ukrainian counter-offensive is just the country, very successful. Allies are working perfectly, people are trained, weapons are delivered, and our people, civilians, are very, very concentrated on our joint victory. Putin reached the country. Like, we have become a stronger nation, more united, and at the same time more integrated into this global society, because global society realizes Ukraine is fighting not only for its future but for the democracy and future of the planet, because Putin, with his nuclear threats, hatred towards rotting West and all of that, is just a demonstration of pure evil, very similar to Hitler and his campaigns that were held in the 20th century. I think that many of Putin's actions are copied from Hitler, so it is totally normal to expect that his end will also be copied from Hitler and his life. And now we see that when Putin is visiting different countries, especially in Asia, he is no more treated as Tsar, something that he likes, or a strong dictator, but more like a loser. And many post-Soviet Asian countries start saying him that, well, stop treating us as your satellites, work on your own problems, and now we can name a really long list of Putin's problems. His yesterday's speech that I have a separate vlog about in Valdai is an example also of a psychosis that was read by many people, just as his press secretary Peskov expected. But the reason why people were reading this speech is different. They were reading it because it's crazy. It's crazy how he tries to hide his failures, his mistakes, and his coming end. So when just recently Chinese president talked to the US, he said that the world is becoming polarized and there are two powers, China and the US, and they have to find way to communicate and to build a better future. And with this, we see that Russia has fallen out of the spec of world leaders, because even his friend, authoritarian friend, Chinese President Kim Jong-un, did not mention Putin among these superpowers. He mentioned his enemy, the US president, because like China is always very polar to the US, but they did not mention Putin because he has demonstrated everything he could. And I think this was a huge mistake, or as we were taught at school, I hope correctly, blunder, that he shouldn't have started this war, and maybe he could have held the image of this super dictator for a couple of years, maybe even until his death. But now everybody sees that Russia is a poor, angry country run by a crazy dictator, and people who close their eyes just to live in their cold, dirty cities and to pretend that everything is okay, just the West that stops them from, I don't know, building toilets, changing roads, or stopping corruption. Anyway, I'm really happy that Ukraine is on the side of good in this war, and that we have so many friends among the countries that support us, provide us with all the necessary things, starting from trainings and finishing with weapons. I'm very grateful for the support that you demonstrate. If you like my videos, please like and share and subscribe to the channel, because I believe YouTube needs more Ukrainian YouTubers who speak English. And thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons. Slava Ukraini!